Those are some pretty big grapevines.
Yeah, right.
I was cycling and listening to Nate Hagen's podcast. I forgot who was on it, but it was a good one because it's something that I think people could do. And that's a big problem I have. It doesn't really address the, well, it does in a certain way, but the larger economic belief system that we live under. But it brings to light what I'm always talking about, which is complex living systems and our responsibility to be good custodians and stewards and to develop more complex living systems. Anyway, the guy I was talking to knows all about that, and he characterized himself as a community organizer, which I think is important. And we talk about watershed all the time and soil diversity and health. And the desertification process that we're experiencing now due to our activities, H. sapiens activities, is mind-boggling. It's mind-numbing. And apparently, according to this guest, a great percentage, at least a third, and probably more, of our global heating problem is because of burning soil. You don't have enough species of plants and so on living on the ground, and it exposes the soil to heat and radiation and sunlight, and it kills it, and then you have dirt, and that's called desertification. You don't have soil anymore. So people could become living systems engineers, or I forgot the term he was using for it, but living systems custodians or developers or whatever. And we could start to build a living world. But we'd have to give up our sense of supremacy. We'd have to cut way back on our consumption. I mean, it's very complex, right? And we have all these data centers now and AI. I think it'd be really good if all of us just kind of researched this on our own quite a bit, made reports that are relevant to our local communities, thought about implementation plans, how to organize, all that kind of stuff, and just start doing this because it's probably easier to do than a lot of other things. As far as getting rid of our current cultural belief systems, I don't think that's going to happen. And as far as revolution goes, it's complex, and we've seen revolutions throughout history and battles for thousands of years for this, that, and the other thing. We're really talking about cultural development that takes generations to accomplish. And so there's no overnight solution. And of course, as many of my friends have pointed out, you have to work on yourself and your own thought processes and all that kind of thing in order to be strong enough and resilient enough and creative enough to engage in these kinds of projects. That's all true. But I tend to see people using mindfulness or whatever the heck they're using, whatever models, spiritual models they like, to feel good as opposed to do good works. So that's a little bit of a different thing. We all want to feel good, and there's nothing wrong with that, but doing good works sometimes requires sacrifice, and that sacrifice sometimes requires pain and suffering and frustration and outrage and anger and all that kind of stuff. It's all just part of the whole thing. And it's hard work. It requires changing habits, and habits are very hard to change, as everybody knows. In the modern world, techno-industrial world, we're addicted to so many things that we take for granted. We don't even think about it. We just have it all. Flip the switch, it's all there. Every time we log in or log on or whatever, open the door and go outside or turn on the TV or make coffee, whatever we're doing, we're supporting a very pathological and sick socioeconomic system that has been largely captured by narcissistic, vain American values, North American values, in particular US values. So it's a huge beast, it's a huge threat to the world, to living systems and to civilization. And we're heading into disaster zone, whether we like it or not. Nothing can stop it. This is just a different way to approach things, is to say, like, I'm going to enhance living systems where I live, in my backyard. So it's, yes, in my backyard we're going to do that, as opposed to the NIMBY thing. Fighting data centers in the countryside is not easy. You need huge coalitions of people to organize and fight, because there's so much money in it. As long as we have financial markets that are designed the way they are, to function the way they are, we're in trouble. That has to be fought, very difficult to do so. Our enemy is very powerful, and it's within us because we believe in it, whether we think we do or not. Armchair revolutionaries, podcasters, bloggers, whatever, we're not doing anything, you know. We just know what's what, and knowing what's what is never enough. It's not enough to combat the challenges, or to face and work through the challenges that we have today. It's just not enough. We have to work together locally, and we have to use the electronic networks that we have now and the tools that we have now to connect nodes across the planet, to share information and strategies and success stories and challenges and obstacles and information, ideas, creative ideas, and so on. So I hope people do that more and more. But what I see is more of a tendency to just get along with the status quo, find whatever makes you feel good, and then when circumstances dictate, you react and do what you've got to do. When things change too quickly or abruptly, or when crises come to you, knocking at your front door, basically, then suddenly it's like, wow, we should probably take care of this thing. And that's just the way people are. We tend to get comfortable and put things off. Of course, I'm talking about the Anglosphere and the United States and Western Europe and so on. All around the world, people are already carrying water, and they already have to know how to swim just to survive from one minute to the next. And we have to put an end to it. So I always say that one of the things we have to do, besides becoming stewards and developing and engineering and creating more complex living systems in our backyard, is to boycott and divest from all the evil people. It's kind of hard if you're using AI for good reasons to do good things. It's kind of hard to boycott that, isn't it? It's a very complex conundrum. But we have to find ways to use the tools we have today to shift things around a bit. We're not going to have the world that we had over the last, couple hundred years. It's not going to continue. So at some point, our progeny will be doing things quite different from what we're doing. What we could do is give them a gift to posterity, which is healthy, robust, diverse living systems that they can count on to maintain a certain kind of balance within living systems in the future that allow for H. sapiens, Homo sapiens, to continue to survive. Extinction is the rule, so H. sapiens are going to go extinct at some point. All the sci-fi stuff about we're uploading ourselves into machines and robots and all that, just for fun. I'm sorry to say that's not going to happen due to biophysical constraints and limits, and we will find that out sooner or later. But for now, we have access to these wonderful technologies, and we could use them for good instead of figuring out how to use them to kill each other. But that's what we do. I mean, we wouldn't have an internet without a military-industrial complex. That's just a fact. And we wouldn't have AI without capitalism. It's just what it is, right? But we have to change it. We have to shift it right now. And I don't think people are going to do it. But I still maintain that people got to do something. People do things. So why not do something positive and in the process build community and love and fellowship and all that? Because you got to do something. And we are all going to die, right? So while we're living, we could do something really positive with one another and have a marvelous life. Where I live, people are always doing that, but it's just kind of built into the culture. It's less vain, less narcissistic, less status-oriented than many parts of the United States. It's a pretty healthy culture. It's still, everywhere has its problems, but many opportunities to do that here where I live. And I know there are in the United States as well, Canada, Northern Europe. People are thinking about it more and more, talking about it more and more, learning about it more and more. But knowing what's what is never enough. You can know a lot about what's going to happen in the wars and all that stuff, but you can't do anything about it except tell all your leaders that you're fired. And we want new kinds of leaders with new priorities. And to boycott and divest. Just don't spend your attention, energy, time, money on any of it. And cut down your consumption as far as you can. Limit yourself. You know, it's such a double-edged sword, because when you say something like that, it means, oh, jobs are being lost and all this stuff. Maybe so, but you could put, like they were saying in that podcast, 15 hours a week into, building healthy living systems in your community, having potlucks. So yeah, there wouldn't be office jobs, and you would have to cut back on a lot of things, but you could still have an incredibly wonderful, exciting life. And people, when they say that, we're accused of not being libertarian enough and growth-oriented enough. But we know there are limits to growth, so grow up. Maybe you're a progressive libtard or something to some people, but it's becoming obvious now that there are limits to growth. So growth becomes something different, right? And something less about mining the earth, digging up the ground, geological processes, human-engineered geological processes that completely activate rock in various ways, turning it into stuff, and using tons and tons of energy, to do that and power systems to do that, and basically running everything down at the end of the day. We will find out because, plague and pandemics and starvation, these things will happen. They just will happen. And I'm always thinking, are there ways that young people could figure out how to make these events just a little bit less traumatic and horrific and painful? That's all. You can thank the good Lord that you weren't born in some places in the world that are really, really hard. But I've been to places in the world that were very, very simple, and the people, the culture in the villages, they were wonderful. There's so much love and companionship and friendship and humor and stories and just so much going on there. You didn't really need to have all the stuff. They were still happy. Now, do they watch TV and wonder what it'd be like to have all this stuff? Of course they do. People are like that. But do they feel that they're having a shit life and they just become suicidal or whatever? No. They continue making babies and having families and doing stuff and surviving and going through life. Life is tough, but it's also beautiful, right? I just am a little bit disappointed by the selfishness and the vanity of people. And I've said before, there is such a thing as healthy vanity, right? You want to maintain your weight and health and so on because you want to feel good and look good. And maybe that's a good thing, right? A little bit of vanity. Anyway, it's too windy here, so I'll stop. But that's what I'm thinking about. Talk to you later. Boo MT. Out. Bom dia.
Bom dia. Ah, pois é, bom dia que não vamos almoçar. Queremos a fazer o meu saco.
Always party time. Always party time. It's gonna be pretty nice. This place is gonna be a lot of fun tonight. A lot of fun. They're warming up. Check out the dance floor. People are gonna cut the rug there. Full bar. You want your scotch? You can have your cutty suck. This is a pretty cool culture center.